Hello beautiful, welcome back to my channel. My name is Bettina and I'm a makeup enthusiast. In today's video I am filming my mid-year update on my Pan That Palette series. You guys know this is my second update. Now for this project this year I am doing a theme of something old and something new, and I am refreshing my palettes every quarter in this project. Now, all that being said, this quarter is going to be slightly different. You'll find out why when we get into the update. But I do have some very exciting progress and some very exciting updates to show you. But before we get into that, if you are new around here and you do love watching project panning content or any other beauty related content, I hope you'll consider subscribing down below. And without further ado, let's jump on into the update. So I'm currently working on two palettes. You guys know I just said something old, something new. So I am currently working on my Too Faced Love Flush Blush Wardrobe, which is my something old. And then for my something new, I have the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Edit Sculpture Palette. So these both, this one I don't even know how old it is. It's very old, and this one was Christmas palette from not last year but the year before. So I don't have a whole heap of very new face palettes in my collection, so it can be a little bit difficult sometimes finding palettes to fit the categories, but I have found one to replace. So let's jump on into it. Which one should we do first? Let's go with the Hourglass palette because the Love Flush Blush is kind of exciting. So we'll leave the best to last. So the Hourglass palette, I was mainly focusing on probably 4 of the shades. I was focusing on 3 of the shades quite heavily, and then the last shade was just a bit but towards the end of the quarter, I kind of dropped off 2 more of the shades, and I was only focusing on 1 like really quite heavily. So I will show you a photo of what the palette looked like when it first came in. So this is what it looks like at the intro, and I will show you what it looks like now. Can you guys see? Can you see? Can you see? If you can see here, this corner here is like completely worn down. So I have hit pan on mood exposure. I'm counting it as pan because I have managed to work my way to the larger squares in this palette. So I've hit pan on that one. I didn't touch the color Vibrant, what is it? Vibrant Flush. I didn't work on that one at all. Same with the one up the top here, which is Glistening Strobe Light. I didn't touch that one either. I was working on the bronzer, the Natural Bronze Light and the Dim Light, which is these two here, and I was kind of like swelling my brush in the center mainly. That's why you can see like the top edge of the bronzer has worn off. I do really want to try and hit pan on the bronzer before the end of the year, so I want to get to that like honeycomb waffle pan pattern before the end of the year, like I've done on Mood Exposure. I want to get to that on the bronzer. I would really like to get it on Dim Light as well, but I don't know whether that's going to happen. And then I was also working on the one in the center here, which is Diffuse Light, and I was just mainly using that as a highlighter, like a daily highlighter, and I would go like fairly heavy in it. I don't know whether you can see, but when you look on the side here, you can see like the dome on the one in the center there has really well worn down. Same with Mood Exposure. You can like barely see Mood Exposure when you look. I'm trying to like not blind you. You can like barely see Mood Exposure in terms of the level. The bronzer's worn down quite a lot. So I have made really good progress on this palette, considering it was basically like brand new, barely even touched when it first came in. I think I've done really good progress on it to have hit pan on one of the blushes and then almost have pan on the bronzer. I have definitely hit the pan, but I always only count hitting pan on these until I wear like to the bigger squares in the waffle pans. So I will continue to work on that one in terms of the bronzes down the end here. Last but not least, I will show you like side-by-side comparison photos so you can see exactly what they look like when they first rolled in compared to now. But I am very happy with my progress. I am very, very happy with my progress. Now, moving on, moving on, moving on, moving on to the Too Faced Love Flush Blush wardrobe. You guys know I am freaking determined. I am determined to get this one out of my collection this year. So when we first rolled this in at the start of the quarter, so I had pan on 2 of the blushes, and then I had one that I basically hadn't even touched yet. So my goal was to completely finish up at least one of the blushes that I had pan on. And then I think in my last video, I said that I would start working on the pan that hadn't been touched yet. That didn't happen. I decided to work on the 2 blushes that had pan on them. So I said I was going to do 1 and 1. So I was going to do the one that had pan and the one that didn't have pan. But I got to the, I'm giving it away. But I decided to do the ones that had pan in it. And that's because, look. So these were the 2 that I had pan in, and they are completely finished. Look at that empty pan. Look at that empty pan. I cannot believe it. I cannot believe it. I powered through those 2 blushes. I was so determined. I was using this palette all the time to try and get those pans done. Once I used up those 2, I kind of diverted my attention to the Mood Exposure quite a lot, and I neglected this one for quite a while, and it's only been in like the last probably 2 to 3 weeks that I've really been focusing on this one. I really wanted to try and get the TF out of the pan before this update, and I did manage to do that. And since then, I've been really trying to focus on wearing the pan down evenly. So once I hit pan, I'm hoping that it won't be too much longer before it's completely done. So that's my plan going forward on this one, the Justify My Love, because I wanna like, previously with the other pans in this palette, my brush is like really focused in one spot, and then I've hit pan, and then it's taken me quite a while to get the rest of the product done because it's been built up quite high around the edges. But for this one, I want to make sure that I'm kind of really focusing on wearing it down evenly. So that means by the time I hit pan, it'll be basically done. So that's my plan. But oh my God, I can't believe that there are 5 empty pans in this palette. I cannot believe it. I am gobsmacked. I am so excited. The end is near, people. The end is near when it comes to this palette. You guys know I have been working on this palette on and off for 3 years now. So I am so excited by the fact that this might be done. This might be done in like a month or 2. So I am so freaking excited to see this out of my collection. I am so proud of myself for panning 5 blushes and using 5 blushes up completely, especially these Too Faced ones. These Too Faced ones are pigmented. They are so pigmented, and I think I've really shot myself in the foot. I think I've probably left like one of the most pigmented blushes in the palette till last. So I've really done myself the dirty there, but I am so close. I am so close. The end is near. I feel like this year in terms of project panning, it has been very successful in terms of getting like progress done on my collection. Not so much on getting things completed. This is probably the exception to that rule. But in terms of like consistency and doing really good progress overall on a lot of my collection, this year I've been doing very well, if I do say so myself. So that being said, I have decided to do a little cheaty cheat, and I'm going to keep this palette in the project for the next quarter. I don't think this blush is going to last me the entire quarter though, so here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that if I get to the point where I have this one finished, and I decide that I want to rotate in a new palette, I will do an early update. But if I decide that I'm happy with just what I've got in like Team Project pans and the other palette that I'm bringing in, if I'm happy with that, I will just keep going with the whole quarter, just using the two palettes. But if I finish this early, if I finish this in like a month's time, I think I'll definitely pick out another palette to rotate in to replace this one. But if it lasts me like most of the quarter, I'll probably just continue on with just the two palettes. So this one's going to come over for another quarter, and I am almost 100% positively certain that this palette will be finished by the end of the next quarter, and I am very excited by that. I'm like giddy with excitement by that. So that one is almost done. Almost done. We have like half a pan left to go. And to replace my Hourglass palette, I am going to bring in this palette right here. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Nude Gasm Face Palette. I did get this one towards the end of last year, and it looks like it has barely been used. So in terms of this one, I would really like to wear down some of the imprints on the pan. I don't think I'm going to see them go completely, but I would like to see a lot more wear on all of the pans in this palette, and I freaking love this palette. It is such a gorgeous palette, especially these like glowy cheek products up the top. They are so good, and even the bronzers, I don't mind the bronzers. They're not my favorite bronzers, but they still work really well on my skin tone. But the glowy products up the top are like chef's kiss. They are so beautiful on the skin, especially like my skin tone and the highlighter. I'm actually wearing the highlighter on my cheeks today, and it is glorious. So I am very excited to get some more use out of this one and to have a good excuse to grab it out of my collection. So we will hopefully see a lot more wear and tear on this palette by the end of the quarter. So that's my update, you guys. Love Flush is coming over for another quarter. I am my own worst enemy, but I am so determined to get this one done. So Love Flush is coming over for another quarter, and Charlotte Tilbury Nude Gasm Face Palette is coming in for a quarter, and our Hourglass palette is going away for a little bit. So we will see how we go on these palettes. Let me know down in the comments box how you are going on any face palettes that you're currently focusing on. Do you have this palette, and is it taking you an eternity to get through like it is for me? Let me know how you're going on this palette if you are panning it at home. Good luck for the next quarter if you are doing a project similar to mine where it's quarterly based for face palettes. If you did enjoy this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. If you are new around here and you haven't already, I hope you'll consider subscribing down below so you can get notified when I post my updates for this project. That's it for this video, beautiful. I hope you're having an absolutely fantastic day. I hope that you are staying safe, healthy, and looking after yourself. And I will see you on the next video. Goodbye, beautiful.